All right, testing 1, 2, 3. All right, so today we're going to be continuing the ledge system. Hello, Morningstar. I have been doing well in the last live streams that I've published on Patreon. For anybody to watch, anybody can watch those live streams. I've posted the inner corners, outer corners, and that's it. I've just done those systems in the Patreon live streams. I think there's just 2 of us of those. And on this live stream, we're working on making the character to be able to climb up on top of the ledge when you press T. As you can see, we already have the ledge. Not the ledge. We already have the capsule trace that is going to be placed to detect if there is space for the character to go up or not. And then after we do this, we're going to work on the leap 180 that I haven't implemented yet. All right. So let's go for it. In the last live stream, I told you guys that I would explain it, how this system works, each node by each node. So I'm going to just finish this code execution in here so that I can explain later how why I've done things this way. So yeah, so let's go for it. All right, so the Z goes into here, 10, plug into here. Now I haven't touched this project since I finished the live stream. So get something blocking the way. Something blocking, and then if it's blocking, we're going to debug something like blocking the way. So as you can see right here, we're going to press on play, and as soon as you press T, as you can see, the trace gets spawned over there. So if there is something not blocking the way, we're going to execute the other function. So you're going to firstly set. Let me see if I have this parameter here. Motion matching rotation. Yeah, it's called motion matching rotation modifier, but I'm not sure if I use this one. It essentially blocks the Let me see if I have this variable set up. Yeah, I don't have. Yeah, so we're gonna have to do this. So here on the event graph, we're going to go to rotation pre-CMC. So as you can see here, we have is falling. So the rotation rate of the character is dynamically set depending if the character is falling or not. So if the character is falling, we should set the rotation rate to be slower so that the character does not snap too much. I think that's set because of how the motion matching works. The way they've set it up, when you're falling, they basically set the rotation rate of the character to be more, so the character rotates more slowly when you're falling. So as you can see, if you just go into the free mode by pressing middle mouse button. So as you can see right here, when you jump, you're falling, and then the rotation rate is set from -1 to 200. And -1 means that the rotation rate is disabled, and 200 means that the rotation rate is set to be 200, which makes the character to turn slower. Now if you set it to be -1 in here, as you can see, the character glitches more. As you can see there, the legs, they glitch. So that's why they've decided to put 200 in here, because it glitches out. Maybe you can try values like 100. I'm not using motion matching. Do I need that variable? Let me check. Hold on. No, you don't need. No, you're fine. And the other reason that it's set this way, as you can see, if the character is not falling, the rotation rate is always set to be -1 unless the character is falling. So if the character is falling, the rotation rate is set to be more, and that's because of how the motion matching is calculated. The turning place system is calculated. So if you press A and D, as you can see, the character, well, actually the capsule, it moves instantly. So that's what makes the motion matching to work. So the capsule of the character moves quickly, it snaps, but the rotation of the character doesn't snap because they use special calculations for making the character to smoothly face the direction that it's looking for, that it's looking at. So you can set it to be 200. You just need to set the get the motion matching rotation modifier and get this node, and then All right, so all right, so let's go back and turn this option to be true. And of course, when we finish the action, we're gonna have to set this variable back to be false. So just remember that. And in here, we're going to set. Here, you're going to set the movement mode of the character. So just set movement mode of the character. Pretty simple. We're going to go back to the event graph and then copy paste this. Yeah, let's just disable everything. Now we're going to set the movement mode to flying. And the reason why is because, well, yeah, actually the character doesn't need to be set to flying because the movement mode is already set to be flying. But just in case, never know. So we're going to set the collision. I'm going to set up the collision for the mesh of the character and also the capsule component. Now here, finally, we're going to play the montage. We're going to play the climb up montage. We're going to be searching it up. Ah, here, there you go. Yeah, I cannot find the same animation that I'm using right here with this one, such as this one. As you can see, the character goes from the idle position, and then the character climbs up. I'm not sure if you guys have those animations in the pack. Morningstar, can you check if you have this animation in the pack? Because as you can see, this animation here, I cannot find it. Is the character going from the idle position to mental, I guess. Okay. Hey, Morningstar, by the way, do you speak English? Or just Sweden? What is the name of this animation? The character goes from idle to climb up mentally. Yeah, if you wanna hop on the call, then we can talk on live. So they can ask questions in real time. I think it's going to be better. Do you have a specific name for the animation? This animation here, I've renamed it to be ledge climb up from ledge idle. But this animation here is from the other project that I had before in the past. So I do not have the right name of it. Oh, no problem. But anyways, we're going to be playing this animation here. I'm just going to wait until we can find the animation. So or maybe we should wait for the animation first. Yeah, but vaulting. I don't want the vaulting one. I want the mental. It's different. Vault and mental are different things. But I can search it on here. Mental. Maybe it doesn't. Yeah, I don't know. Well, I've already asked someone to take a look at this, which name it is. But I guess I'm gonna use this one for now. Just this one, as you can see right there. So that I can just replace it later. Wow. It's called character climb hang idle to climb up. Okay, let's see. Oh yeah, that's the one. Thank you. So we're going to be using this animation here. We're going to select the right ledge slot, as you can see. And we're going to just basically use that on the montage. So when you press T, it didn't detect the surface. So let me just see what's going on here. Yeah, I think the trace should be a little bit down. So let's go back to the multi capsule trace by channel. But yeah, essentially what's happening here is that the trace, the multi capsule trace by channel, when you press T, it should detect the ground. As you can see, it's a little bit too much. It's not enough to reach the ground, the surface that the character should be at. So what we're gonna do is just change the parameters in here just to make the capsule trace to hit the ground. Which value should I change in here? Probably this one. As you can see, it's 120. We can try to lower it down, or we could increase the half height, which is going to increase the height of the capsule. But I'm going to try to change it to be 110 to see what difference it makes. There you go. Yeah, so we're going to have to tweak those values to see which, but yeah, essentially this capsule trace is going to do the job for most of what you need. So we don't need to worry about it. Alright, so what we have so far is this. The character can, of course, play the montage animation. So when you press T, the character can climb up. Don't need to worry about the floating issue right now. So we're just going to continue our execution. So what we're going to do next is basically update the character position in order to smoothly climb up on the ledge. So you're going to set the target location. So you're going to firstly define the target location. Now, of course, I'm going to explain all those values to you guys later. How you can change these values, what happens when you change them. As we just have just one timeline, we can use this timeline to stop. No, not timeline. Yeah, timeline. So for this timeline is responsible for setting, basically correcting the character's position on the ledge. So as you're moving on the ledges, there's going to be the correction phase, which we use timelines. I don't use motion warping because I haven't figured out yet how to set that up. And I like to use the timelines because you have full control of how, you have basically control of everything. Stop the timelines if you want, define the curve, define the amount of seconds, rotation, of transform, scale, blah, 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 all those things in just one single timeline. So we're going to be using this custom event here to trigger. Yeah, I guess we don't have that one. Let me see. Yeah, basically, no. We're just going to basically get this event in here just to stop all timelines of ledge navigation. So that's going to also stop the montages. If there's any montage running, it's going to also stop it. Also going to stop the timeline that is running. I think it's also good to stop the timeline of the hang correction. So if you go to ledge system graph, if you go to F, there is a timeline in here as well. So it's always good to stop all of them. So custom event, stop, let's say stop hang rotation timeline event. So that we can make sure that we don't have any bugs or conflicts while moving the character. So we're going to do the same here, just create a custom event and then trigger them. Yeah, so we're gonna have to use retrievable delay in here, but I guess we can use the onNotify begin by creating a notify in here inside the animation itself, because it's going to be better. Let me see where the animation is. So 090. 09. So as you can see, there is a lot of stripes in here. We're going to go to the first one. Go to your mouse and right click, notify state, montage notify window. And then there you go. Now come back. And now we can use the onNotify begin because it's going to trigger that exact time of the animation. Now the other thing, let me see. on blend out, as soon as the animation starts to finish, I want to stop all the timelines. Actually, I think it's a good practice to stop all the timelines as soon as the animation is played, because something could interrupt. Will you be finished with the clamp on top of box system today? Yeah, probably, most likely. I think it's a good practice to leave this in there, the first one to be executed, because it's going to cause conflict later. So before the timeline gets executed, we should stop all the timelines. So on the on the final detaching phase, we're going to go on blend out. We're going to change back the settings, but I'm not sure if that's going to be really necessary. So I'm just going to let it empty right now. But I want to set this one is ledge climbing, is already on the ledge, to false. All right, let's test it out. Oh yeah, because we're basically playing a montage, but we're stopping it right away. So I think what needs to be done in here is just stop all the timelines before we can even play the montage. So we can just do this. I want to reduce that a little bit of sliding here. Yeah, maybe not. So I want 0.1 in here and blend out time 0.2. Yeah, what do you guys think about this result in here? I'm not sure why he moves right away when you press T. Maybe that's because of the retargeting. No, it's not because of the retargeting. Because the capsule wouldn't move as well together. Let me see. Yeah. Alright, we're gonna have to tweak a little bit the ledge hang up. And there we go. I guess it should be better to give it a delay until, yeah, give it a little delay in here, 0.2 seconds, maybe 0.5. Yeah, it's not a problem of the timeline, as I can notice. Yeah, let me see the animation itself. Take a look at this. Yeah, it's it's a problem of the animation. As you can see, the root moves too early. As you can see, the hands are static, but the root bone is just moving. That doesn't make sense. I'm gonna contact the owner of the animations so that he can take a look at this. So when you guys download this animation in the pack, it's going to be fixed as well. So basically what's happening here is that the root bone moves too early, so that when you climb up, the hands, they flow a little bit right after, as you can see. Yeah, I'm not using the correct settings. Okay. Yeah, now I cannot move. The reason why I cannot move is because we have to handle the interrupted case, but we're gonna have to make it so that it's the montage is not interruptible, right? And how can we make that? So we're gonna make sure that player cannot be able to move, because if he moves or tries to press any key, we're gonna have to block that because the character is climbing up. So while the character is climbing up on the ledge, we're gonna have to block all the inputs that the player, so that the player cannot interrupt the montage, which is going to cause the player to just do this, you know. Like if you climb up and then try to move, you're going to cause bugs. So let me get the set input. Set can process input, something like this. We're going to set it to be false. Let's see if that's going to solve the issue. So climb up. Let me see if there is cases to print string and then say if the montage is interrupted. Oh yeah, I'll notify begin. Yeah, it's right. Yeah, I cannot move. What's happening? Okay, I forgot to set the can't process input to be true after it's blend out. There you go. Now, if I press any key while the character is climbing up, as you can see, nothing happens because we have the right case for handling the inputs of the character, of the player. Do you have the cornering tutorial on YouTube? No, it's all on Patreon. And anybody can watch it. Let me just get the link. So this can't process input variable is very important for basically preventing bugs. It's ideal to place this variable, this condition, to all the inputs of the character. So, for example, aiming, if the character is aiming, if the character is strafing or crouching, all those conditions. So I'm going to get that to be set in here. So get get can process input, and then we're gonna have to add in here all those in here. I like it to do it this way because there is also disable input, but I don't like to maybe do this. We can try to do this one, but I don't like using that one. So you can, instead of using this variable, you can just get the player controller and disable input And then we can enable it back once we finish the animation. Or once we blend out from the animation. I'm not sure why sometimes I cannot move to the left and right. I'm gonna have to check it out. Yeah, we can use the disable input, as you can see. When I drop, I think it's missing the can attach to ledge. Something like this. Sometimes I cannot move to the left and right. As you can see right here, let me see what is it. So event graph, it's just one thing, and this is actually could be considered a bug. So, oh, okay. So ledge nav timeline finished. Okay, let me see which one it is. So we set it. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. So we can use this detach phase as well. So detach phase for climb up mental event. It's a pretty huge event, a name. So instead of just setting up everything manually, we can just, have this one set up in there. And there we go. So all I need to do now is just call that input. So to do that, I'm gonna go back to this is looking a little bit complex. As you can see, there's a lot of spaghetti code in here, but that's going to be solved later. You can just collapse everything into a function or a node. So we're going to call that event, and then okay, but yeah, so we're going to call it right over here, which wait. So the reason why I don't like to disable the input, use this node right here, it's because it blocks the possibility for the player to move with the camera to this movement right here. So when you're climbing up, if you're moving the mouse and continue to move it like this, it's going to be annoying for players to, not have the possibility to look around while climbing up. So that's why I don't like to use this disable input. But it works pretty good, but I'm not going to use it for now. I want to use the can't process input variable that I've created here because it's a very custom code, customized. So we don't need to execute any of this. Let me see, flying. Yeah, just stop hang rotation timeline event. Yeah, we can just leave it as it is. Now, if you want to wait, yeah, as soon as you climb up, you can choose like what's the blend out time of the previous animation. So if you don't want the character to snap when you're climbing up, as you can see, the character snaps before climbing up. Look at this. As you can see, snaps. Now I can fix that by choosing here. So blend out time for the previous animation before climbing up. Which should be 2 milliseconds. So as you can see, it's more smooth. It's better. Now, as you can see, the hand is going to float a little bit. What? Hold on, let me just get a code in here that's going to show up the bones. So this way, the viewport allows you to see the bones of the character and also the collision. But there is a way to see that in real time as well. Let me just get the code. So here in the event graph, we can go to begin play. And then we can execute a console command. And there is something here. BP coding tips. There is a where is it? There's a lot of things in here. Search for bone. Here. Useful console commands. Rendering individuals. Collision physics. Here, show debug bones. I guess we should type 1 as well. Press play. Yeah, we cannot see. Yeah, we still cannot see the bones in real time. Debug for auto spot. Oh yeah, it's select press page up or down. So page up or down. Okay. All right, never mind. I get all right. So I guess we've just finished our climb up system. As you can see, yeah, it's snapping a little bit when you move to the left and right. So let me just, if I can try to solve that real quick. So when you go to the left and right, it's in the event graph. Oh yeah, no, I think it's not part of the event graph. It's because of the blend out time, maybe. Maybe. No, it's not because of this. Yeah, it's because of the blend-in time. Yeah, so defining the blend-in time to be, as I've said in here, to be, where is it? Yeah, 0.3. Yeah, of course, we're going to have to also consider the type of curve that is applied to it. But essentially, if you set a blend-in time to be 0.3, which is higher than I usually had, which was 0.05, there are more probabilities of getting the character to have bugs like hands floating or I don't know. But yeah, both works. So I've already asked the animator to fix this bug here where the hands the hands they float a little bit too much early. So as soon as he fixes that issue, I'm going to update the animation. Okay. So do you guys have any questions? Now I'm going to explain the whole system, the climb up system now, so that we can finish this. How many hours? Okay, it's 1 hour and 10 minutes already, so it's a long time. I've been streaming. Yeah, so let's go for the explanation of the system now. So here on the large system graph, what we've done, yeah, let me just organize this a little bit. It's too much confusing. I'm gonna ask him when the animation is going to be fixed, but in general, the animation maybe in 1 day. 1 day is going to be fixed. Alright, so when we press T, we check if the character can process the input, which means if this variable is if the character can process input, we're going to follow up. We're just going to check if the character is already climbing. So only if the can process input and only if the input of the player is allowed and if the character is able to climb up the ledge, we're going to run the multi capsule trace by channel. Now, of course, you can check for other things like if the character is falling, if the character is shooting, if the character is... So those are the actions that are going to determine, those are the conditions that are going to determine if we can climb up or not. So we're going to have to place out in here, everything. So we're going to run the multi capsule trace by channel. The reason why it's multi is because if there's multiple objects in here, let's say something like this, the trace is not going to detect. Yeah, the trace is going to detect all of them. So if there is something, and then you press T, as you can see, something is blocking the way. No, you cannot go in here, you cannot go here, but you can go in here. So as you can see, it takes all the points in the... Let me see. So if you press T, as you can see, it gets 3 points. And then it basically checks if the character is in the right condition. All right. So that's why I use the multi-capsule trace instead of using a lot of traces. Instead of using like 2 traces, one for detecting the ground and the other one for detecting the things that are blocking. All right, so here we position the line the capsule trace. So here we get the capsule trace to be the same radius as it is in the character capsule radius. The capsule half height, I just added a little bit of height in it. Yeah, so Morningstar, the animator, the animation, yeah, the fixed animation is going to be available in 2-3 days because Epic Games has, they take a little bit of time to actually publish the animations, to make them available, so it'll be available 2-3 days. There we go. Here you select the forward factor, like how much forward you want the capsule to be. That's not something really difficult to analyze. Here we basically set the height of where exactly the trace is going to be. So before it was 120, and 120 wasn't a good value because it wasn't reaching the ground. So I just had to lower it a little bit down. I like to set this value in here just to not glitch, have bugs with the traces. And the forward factor is going to be based on the capsule component and all these other calculations. So after it has detected multiple objects, we promote that into an array. It's a structure. It's called things blocking. And then if it hits something, then there is something blocking. We're going to have to find out which it is, what it is. What is it? So here we save all the impact points to an array to check the distance, I think. I'm not sure why I do this. I don't remember. Now here we check for anything blocking that could prevent the character from climbing to the top of the ledge. Yeah, I guess, so here we're basically checking the distance of the character and the ledge hit. So if the if whatever was hit has that height that the character can climb up, then the character is going to be able to climb up. There's just a small difference in here. Yeah, I'm not sure how to explain this, but if you guys want to have a deeper explanation of how this works, but basically you guys can play with these values, like see which one works the best, like change this active forward vectoring here. Try to use the debug nodes like debug, I don't know, debug string, draw debug string, so that you can place the text, or you can just print a string to see which values you're getting. And that's pretty much playing with the values and see which makes sense to be there. So if there is not something blocking the way, we're going to go to false. We're going to update the rotation matching to not to basically make the motion smooth. We're going to make sure that we don't set any movement mode of the character. So we're going to make sure that the character is in the ideal state of basically climbing up, be able to climb up on the top. We're going to set the character mode to be flying, no collision for the mesh and capsule component. Here we set the blend out time for the previous animation before climbing up, so that it doesn't snap when you climb up from the previous animation. So you can basically set this value to see which one looks better. We're going to stop the hang, rotation, and location. That's very important. And here also stop all the timelines. So if you have multiple timelines for correcting the character's position when you go from one ledge to the other, you're going to have to stop all the timelines. Yeah, basically stop all the timelines that are, even if they are not running, you have to stop them. So just in case, to prevent bugs, just in case it happens. Here we have a very special variable for handling blocking, for basically blocking the player movement, player inputs, so that we don't have any bugs. So just block player inputs. There we go. So here we have the montage, which is going to be fixed by the animator in 2 or 3 days. Yeah, so here we just basically define where is the tracker location is going to be of the ledge. No, wait. Yeah, the target location. So basically we calculate it by getting the actor location and getting the amount of like height that the character should be at. So if you set it to be like 4,000, let's see, I think the character is going to fly away up there. There we go. I'm not sure why he goes down to go up. I think it's because of the timeline. So let me check. Maybe the timeline is going... yeah, it's going to it's going below. So to fix that, it's basically, let's just add a curve in here. Let's set that curve to be not automatic. I think it's linear. Linear. Okay, so value is 0, and the time is .32. And then in here is the same thing, so the time is 0. There we go. So that we can keep. And let me just reset this. Linear, value 0. Time. Actually, I think automatic. No, automatic doesn't work. Here. Yeah, I think I have an idea here. So just create a new one, set it to be linear. The time is going to be .32. And then from here, we can set a nice curve. Set it to be auto. Yeah, this doesn't look good. All right, now it looks nicer. Okay. Now the character does not go down to go up anymore. Let's see. There we go. Now if you set it to be, if you set a very, very high number for the correction phase, the character is going to go to the moon. Yeah, so we run the timeline. The timeline looks bad. As you can see, it goes from, it's linear in here, and then it goes up, and then it goes up even more. But that's the curve that I found. Of course, you can make a curve better than this, or maybe you can make a linear curve. It looks better. So it's just a matter of test. Boring tests. So here we set the actual location. We use the target location value to see where exactly you want the character to be at, which height, compared to the character. And here in the completed, we don't use the rotation modifier anymore. And then in here on the blend out, we run the detach phase for climb up mental event. So we stop all the timelines. Make sure to stop all the timelines again if there is something running, to make sure that we don't have any bugs. And then here in the event begin, on notify play, on notify begin, we basically set the character to be walking again, and we reset the collisions to be back normal. Yeah, so just make sure to also define this in here, on notify. Yeah, so that's going to be it. Do you guys have any questions so far, or no? Yeah, I'm streaming every day. If I really don't stream, it's because I have something really important to do. Trace position. All right. Yeah, so that's going to be it. We've got to finish the climb up while on the ledge. And let me know what you guys want to see next. Yeah, I think Epic Games needs to hire me right now. As you can see, sometimes the character it just falls down. Sometimes. You can change the height of where the character is going to land. Maybe in here. So 120. So it's going to set the character a little bit higher or lower, depending on how much you need. There you go. Now the character is going to be more planted into the ground. Maybe 105. There we go. That's the perfect height for this character. There we go. $105 is the right value for this one. Yeah, we can do a parkour game maybe with this. So yeah, I'm gonna have to go now. See you guys later. I hope you enjoyed. Hope you learned something new. But this is basically a tutorial for just basically showing up the code. It's not really a tutorial. So yeah, that's going to be it, and I see you guys soon.